Well, aren't you just the cutest 42? I mean, honestly. Again, 42 is a math number. It's a binary thing. It's a calculus thing. It's not just I'm dealing with the sharps guy being an energy transmission and knowing that shit like the back of your hand, the chessboard that is. If you were a chess player, that would make this different. We're going to get into this. I was dealing with JP this morning about the book club on Bitcoin. How do we know that they're the one? Definitely the devil. A lot of them. Well, personally, it's just a conversational model that they deny it right off the front from the get go. Are you? Yeah, I'm not that at all. That's why you definitely are. What? Yeah, 42. Do not have the light over your head for devil. You can't. By definition, you said it wasn't. So I know you still are. And deep down, you might know you are, but you can't word it out, can you? Can't explain it. Can't do what's necessary. And I would hit her in high left, usually where I keep Diana or Lilith or one of the two when that's flashing in and out. 42 under the standards of the blankety winks. Some brothers out there. And you got four of them up there. You got the big one down there. He's doing this. He's like, maybe she's up, down, up, and whatever. I'd be like, well, look, honey, if I'm explaining to you when you got a big brother that does all that, it looks totally different than the clay topology problem, and this is doing this, be careful. He's big. It's good. It's great for a certain type of index and neural net. Are you in that?
Can I live for
Brother.
the rest of my life in this relationship as it is today and experience a wonderful
Well,
life?
I started in interrogation rooms. This is where she killed him.
The peace,
Sweetheart,
the joy
just
that I
you
want
would
to
think
experience. Is that possible?
that's the one I'm
in
looking
my
for.
current
And it's
relationship?
like, she
if
stabbed you.
Nothing changed from the way it is today. And if the answer is no, the question to ask is, so therefore it needs to change or I need to leave. What evidence do I have that this is going to change?
The 5 there, knife
And that's
here,
a question you have to
piece
ask
of metal
very,
between
very
my legs.
soberly. There's a biased
Handles.
judge in here that wants to do what's comfortable, not what's going to make
Maybe
you
not,
happy.
but I'm not into
And
your
you
bullshit
have to be
like, oh,
very
that's
careful
too
of not
much
listening
on
to
it.
that
Honey,
judge.
I already saw it, gave it off. Don't worry about it because it's there. How many times on the
I'm
standard
Michaela
model?
Peterson, and I
You know
am
what this
so
is.
pleased
It's
to
like the
introduce
psychologist
Matthew
knows what
Hussey
this is.
as my guest on
Don't you?
episode
I
number
would lead into
103
it,
of the
smile,
Michaela Peterson
catch
podcast.
this. Hopefully they're
Matthew
dumb enough
Hussey
not
is
to
a
understand
best-selling
this on
author
the
and
negative
the
one
world's
under the
leading
index, and I'd
dating
keep
advice
trying, keep
expert for
probing.
women,
Everything
with
else in the
millions of
universe
followers on
goes away
YouTube,
for a
Instagram,
general
TikTok,
relativity
and
math
social
problem while
medias.
I'm hitting that on the
Also
index.
possibly the
Plus,
most hilarious
you'll be on the
newsletter I am
indexes of
currently
multiple
subscribed to.
indexes every single time
We
I
had a
look
great
at you
discussion about
because
whether
you would
some
already be in
people
my
are meant to be
pants.
single or in
That's
relationships.
pretty damn. If that's not on the map, you're gonna have a hell of a
jealousy,
time.
gaslighting, and more. This episode will be interesting for anyone who wants to learn about rejection,
Bitcoin,
gaslighting,
blockchain,
you know what that was, and other related
bits
topics,
and bytes,
or
ones
to
and
see
zero,
the world's
1
most
0
furry human
1
being
0.
doing a podcast.
Some people are feeds and
Say
speeds,
that with
dialing it
admiration
in,
and
getting it
love.
through the
If
atmosphere
you
while
do
looking at
enjoy this
the
episode,
moon from
please
a
don't
telescope.
forget to subscribe.
Send one
Thank
up
you,
there in a
Matthew, for coming on
balloon,
the podcast.
or taking Mars. Turn it up. It's like you gotta ramp it up. Get it
Matthew
loading
Hussey,
around.
welcome to my podcast.
Thank you for having me.
I've been excited about this. This should be very good.
How
I
did
have
they
so
know?
many
They
questions.
tried, they failed, they did a
And
bunch
I've
of
been
stuff.
following
They
you
got a
for
small
while,
one,
so
then they made a
this
big
should
one.
be good. Before I hammer you with a whole bunch of questions, can you give a brief background about who you are and what it is
Here's
you
how it
do?
goes, buddy. Paris Island.
Yeah, man, I always worry about this question because I never have I feel
They
like a
have
great answer for it.
18-year-olds
I started
to
out 15 years ago with an
generals.
organization that
Kids
was
coming from
designed to
salty
help
somewhere
women
in the middle,
in
start
their
them
love
off.
lives. You know, it
13,
was quite. It started
8.
out as a very practical kind of experiment, which was, you know, women
Well,
have a lot
that's
of
not
questions
today.
for their love
That's
lives that don't seem
old
to
school.
be being
We're
answered
just
by
in that
cosmopolitan.
reciprocal.
So, you know, can I actually be of more help?
Do these
And,
videos right
you know,
here.
I read a lot of
That
women's
help. The
books
direction
on
isn't to
dating
Johnny,
relationships,
isn't to
and
her.
I
It's
found some of it to be
it's
questionable
non-local.
in
It's
its approach.
I1,
and so I started to take a different
I2,
approach that was
I3,
just
and
very
1 and 2.
practical, very logical,
But
to
on
how
the
women could
X
get
and
better
Y.
results in their love lives. Everything from
That's why it's
finding
AU, the new
a person,
apocalypse,
attracting them,
2020,
and having a
esoterics,
great
eschatology. This video quantifies the entirety of the
put me on a
universe.
journey of coaching.
Up to
and
today.
To tell you the truth, it was never
On
really
this
dating
question.
that was my
Zeros and ones, bits and
passion.
bytes,
It
and
was
letters
people.
of cicada
And
code.
it gave me a
How?
platform.
How did we get to
that
how
built
and the
quite
ticks and
quickly through
clicks
my
based on the
20s,
system?
and
Just an
that's allowed me
arbitrary
to reach a lot
M2
of
based
people with
in
ideas, and
Big
now I'm in
Bang,
the
compositions,
privileged
healing,
position of
hydrogen
being able
system,
to not have to talk
steel.
about dating constantly and still have an audience
Carbon
even
steel.
when I'm not, and that's what I enjoy doing today, is empowering people in all sorts of areas of their lives. But I in that area I wrote a New York Times best-selling book, and there's been millions of people that have come and seen my work, and so
'cause I don't take the
you
time.
know, that's all.
I mean, I
kind
wrote
of
the
a
book,
wild
but I didn't get
15
anything
years.
on it. And usually,
It's been 15
it's
years. So
it's
did
heavy
you
'cause
start
you teach a
because
kid by
you just
saying,
saw an area,
"Here."
or was there something that triggered the interest in helping women?
in the end of it,
attract
you
men?
have to beat me.
No,
It's not that you
wasn't.
can beat
I
me, but you
started-
have to.
I mean, here's the thing. I
You-
started when
I
I was
didn't
11.
do an area.
My
I
dad
didn't do
was
a section.
crazy like entrepreneur.
Something's off the map.
He's
Somebody
still
else
around,
did
so
it. Now are we
not
in the
past tense, but
review to
he
the
was
change,
a-
or
an
is this is just
entrepreneur.
accepting
We had our ups
apology and
downs,
changing
but whether we were
values
living
to
in a house
perception?
or a trailer, he always had books. And when I was 11 years old,
Your mail, buddy.
he had a book
Gotta
on a
hit
shelf
you in your mail.
called How to Win Friends and Influence People, which
Ah,
of course
yeah.
everyone knows. But when I was 11, I didn't know that everyone knew that book. I thought I'd discovered some kind of
Well,
secret
that's what
scroll
JP was doing this morning,
that
kinda.
only I had access to,
Kinda.
and I read it, and
Beating around
I
the bush.
I
I
loved
am
it.
your
I mean, I loved
master
this
mason
idea
now,
that
damn it. You do what I tell
you
you.
could be better with people. That you weren't just condemned to
You won't.
however shy or introverted
Eventually
you
you
thought
will.
you were, and I was both
Hot
as
shots.
a kid. So
You out
that
there
kind of
stopping
set me on a
fire.
path. When I was
You free?
14, my friend's dad dragged
Go
his
home.
son to a Tony Robbins seminar.
Get the fuck off my mountain face,
And
because you're
I,
afraid that
being
rock
the
falling off
friend
there. It's like, what
of-
else do you
of this
expect us to
guy,
do?
Got dragged too.
Grind
But
this
I
down to
wasn't really
Fermilab
having to be
every step for
persuaded
you
because
when
I
every
was
one of
already
these
into
other
those
brothers
kinds
do
of
it by the
books.
math.
And so I went along,
gonna go
and
that
that
way.
became
That's
the kind
early.
of and it became
And
this
the big one usually
marriage
backs me up because
of
he's like, yep,
some
you
of the
got a problem
content
with
I was
Jordan bitching
reading
about over there, and then
with
he thumps him
the
in the ground like a
performance
fucking
aspect of
fence
it.
post.
Someone who had an incredible, whatever you think of Tony Robbins, love, hate, whatever.
Now,
that
on the
person
farm,
has an
faucet.
extraordinary
That's
charisma
usually what
on
I catch
stage.
him with.
Yes.
And that then
That's
became
mine.
this marriage of
My
the two
numbers.
that set me on a path
Now
quite
I'm gonna
early.
hit him with a witch
And not that I
doctor, sit
thought I
off.
was
We're
gonna
gonna
do
hit this
that. I mean, I
topology,
was,
run this
you know,
over there
studying
because
real estate
not
at
big.
university.
It's
But
not even that big.
I
He's-
knew I was
he's
interested
big.
in that world, and I was looking for
I'm
any
graphing his
opportunity to
numbers
help
like that.
people.
He's gonna hit me in the
And
foxholes,
I'd
and
coached guys from
we do
19
those right.
years
Doesn't
old.
matter.
I was doing
he
one-on-one
gets out of
coaching.
line, a lippy about it
I
for too
remember
long,
going
and
into
forgets
London
about
and seeing a
Terracotta Army.
seminar where guys
What
were
it
coaching
does,
other
time
guys
off,
on how
ground
to
me in the
talk to
ground.
women, and it was a
put him in the
weird,
ground.
underground, strange
Right?
world. But even at the time, I was like, well, this is a stage that at least I can get on. No one's going to let me on. No one.
Well, to
and
me,
Dale
JP
Carnegie,
is
and
one of
I
the
know because I
psychological
went there at
counselors that
16
have
and
been
asked to go on stage for them. They weren't
He has a
gonna let me on
class, he
stage.
runs the thesis.
So,
If you ask him the
if I
definition
found
on a
this
number,
kind of
not only will he give
strange
you
little
the clinical
underworld
definition of what
in
that
London
is,
of
but
people
what
coaching
you
other
are in it.
people, I realized,
Well, he should.
I might
PhD,
actually get
hypervigilant,
some time
antisocial, to what
coaching
degree?
people, even if
I
it's
care.
4 or 5 people. And that's where it started for me, was helping men.
The guy
And then
doing
at
the
20,
envelope was big.
I had the idea
You
that
do
well,
that,
no one seems to be
honey,
doing a
you
great
should
job of
love
this
me.
for
You don't know
women.
what you fucked up.
Yeah.
So I'll start helping women.
So when you're coaching people, just
Back
say
end
for
of
the
it, like
men,
I said,
the men
there's so much
aspect
on the
where
board
you're
of it is a
teaching
high quality
men how to
problem.
pick up women. Does that end up translating to the rest of their relationship, or are there just like
The
tricks
Masons
you
are so
learn
far
and
out
then
with
you
the
can pick up
union,
women,
who's
but then
chosen
after
for lead.
6 months, some of these tricks
So
wear off
I
and
usually
you have
go
to
by the spring
figure out,
definition.
you know,
It's
how to
going
have
to
a
level of
personality or
success
something.
on systems. But
That's a fascinating question. because
unfortunately,
it's
men are
it's kind
driven to
of
do work.
interesting to me that
Women
different,
are driven to pick up
different
on a
phases
man
of a
who does.
relationship require
That's
such
so difficult
different skills.
when she's in charge.
And
it can be done. Lots of good things
the-
happen.
the
Graphing
impact of
mathematics
having
is
to
indexes
walk
on the
over
system
to
because
someone
no matter what you do from top end
who
lead,
you don't know.
you're not touching anything.
I mean, of course, now we have apps and so on. But when
It's a
I started
math
my
problem.
company,
It is.
it was very much the world of no dating apps. You had to go and do something.
Not me.
The idea
Somebody
of
that's doing
walking
it
over
for
to
me.
a stranger that you don't know.
The latter,
the
63
intention
to
of
73
picking them up, man
megaparsecs.
or
Some
woman.
kids come in at 18.
is
no
an
experiments. Some are
intensely
master
scary thing
masons
for
walking
most
into a
people.
new building.
And
You
one
do the
that's even
same
scarier
things,
for
it
people
better
today
be on a
because they're
compressed system where it's
15 years out of
reasonable for both
practice,
of
or they
those
were
people
born
to
into
do
a
it.
world where they've never
Now,
had to do that.
15 to, well,
And it's
13 to
it's
14 to
extraordinarily
15,
unique
which,
to the first
you know, it
5
doesn't
minutes of your
mathematically
life
make
with
sense when
someone.
they ask the question, because
So
I'll be
it's
their
not a
manager and they'll just
skill
be
that
like,
you
well, how can I
necessarily
help you
have
when
to
I don't
be
even
good
know what
at
you're making?
again
They've made
after
me
that.
sign a disclosure
Okay,
waiver.
yeah, fair.
And so
I
now
have
you meet someone and
you
you
know
get into a
where's up to
relationship.
go with the information.
You're
All I can
now
say is give
into
him
a
more
different
money on
skill
this. And it's
set,
like, well,
which
why would I
is
give him when he's right on my
showing up
fucking
for
boot
someone,
bills?
being
I
a
did it
great
for the same
teammate,
amount of
being a
time, and
great
they just showed
partner,
up today.
knowing
that
how to
kid.
get through hard times together.
Kill him. Stomp him out.
Hopefully,
They
you
won't
don't
quit because
lose
they're too
all
passive
of
on the damn system.
what
When the
made you
answer is,
attractive in the first
fucking
2
let him quit. He'll
weeks,
be
'cause
back,
I'm
like I
a
was,
big
like
believer
you
that
were,
what
like
made
the
you
rest of
attractive
them.
in the
Buy
first 2
averages
weeks
inside of
is
here.
still
Have
a
eyes,
key
use
to
them.
what will make you attractive in year 2 and year 4 and year 10. I think people losing that idea is part of the reason why
Yeah,
relationships
it's a
go
problem.
stale and die.
The older you get,
But
usually the better
yeah,
you get with
you're
it.
right.
But
It's a completely different skill set, and that's
people
why
have
people who find
bad
themselves to be
decision-making
men or women I
processes.
coach who find themselves to be
Coke,
single again after
drinking,
many
freedom.
years out of the game, so to
Like,
speak.
I'll drive around on a
How to
motorcycle,
explore
and
Colorado
the
Run
ants
by
will end
me,
up being
Barry
Fermilab all
Carson.
the time, which isn't exactly great
Hire a
for
local
breeding
guide,
or
so you
relationships,
can be here.
love.
Not
I can breed you, honey, but really beyond that, get the hell out of my
sorry.
office.
That's how you do Colorado right.
It's time for another one of my DIY projects in my
Tell you
garage.
what, it really
My
is.
project today
You
is
wanted
to
that
build
close
myself
by,
a
something that
stand
you'd pay
or a
me
set
with
of
that,
shelves
'cause
to
I like
hold
it
my
too.
jack stands.
And
Jack
I'll go beat the
stands
shit out
are
of them with
terrible
it
because
they
they
need
take up a
training
ton of floor
anyways on
space and you
somebody
can't really
who's
stack them.
probably
So I'm
doing
trying to
something wrong.
decide how to get rid of these things. So what I've come up with is I'm actually going to build a vertical
even if they
shelf,
didn't do
if you
something
will,
wrong, I
with
just- I
4
need the math
separate
on-
shelves for the jack stands.
She didn't like it, but I don't know why. I mean, it's an index on a square on that just says any relationship version.
I
That's how you
decided
slide
to go
it across the
vertical
pipes.
instead of horizontal because I want to minimize the space that it takes up on my wall. Because I'm going to
Hate that part, most of them. Like, you mean I've got to go and
This
talk
guy,
to a
her,
stranger again
Larry
and put
down the
myself
road,
through
Dave,
this?
you'll
This
get
is
a full comprehensive
horrible thing for most people to have
review
to put
whether they
themselves
like it or
through.
not. It's
Huh,
going to be
okay.
discriminative.
Most people want
It's
a
going to.
relationship,
I'll
but
give
they
you
don't
the
want to
second
date.
over it to look at it. Argue with me
That's
on it.
fair.
Let me
I don't
see
think I
something
ever
that
had
I'm
that
missing.
problem,
But if it was
to be
on
honest.
glass and you're
Like,
under
you
camera,
You were pretty
People.
brave.
Yeah, maybe
All the
too
time?
much, probably.
it's your stature.
Oh, I wasn't worried about that kind
just
of thing at all.
the little bit
Which is
from
interesting.
That's
perfect.
really amazing. Where do you think that comes from for you? Because I was the opposite. I was quite afraid.
I didn't. I mean, the worst that could happen in
You
that
walk
kind of
outside,
situation where
and that
somebody says
stickling
no
in the
didn't
yard,
seem
the
that
bunny
bad.
kelp,
Like,
and
what are they
everything.
gonna
If
say?
I want to eat them
like,
all,
what are they gonna do? Turn me down?
fuck the fish.
Like, oh well. So that amount of fear, I guess, just didn't
Had enough
disturb
of
me.
living like that, running
whatever
around chasing
reason. I have
rabbits.
no
Everybody
idea.
can go fuck their
I
hat if they
suppose
don't
that
like it.
most people, you know, including myself at that time, equate that rejection
Still like
with,
cheeseburgers.
with our own worth.
Still makes
Ah,
dinner better.
yeah.
If
Dollar
you
bills
rejected
instead
me,
of
it must
beaver
mean
pelt.
I'm hideous.
Okay, so
Terracotta
I didn't
army
have that. I
numbers,
just had, oh
it's
well,
like the only
they're
thing
lost.
you beat
So
me.
maybe
That's
just
what it all turns into.
grandiose.
So, how much of an
That's pretty
operator?
amazing.
888.
That's pretty amazing.
Between the hours of what you do for
Thank
work,
you.
no matter
Thank you
what
very
it
much.
is,
Maybe how I grew up.
888,
goes.
minimum
This
wage,
episode is brought to you
labor
by
law,
True Local.
on
True
system,
Local partners with
problem
local
42
farmers and
for a
butchers in
reason.
your area to source the best meat and deliver to your door.
Cause some
meat
systems,
like 100%
but
grass-fed and grass-finished
minimum
beef,
wage isn't. It means
pasture
like you have to look
raised
at the basic
or
bills.
raised without
They
antibiotics
say
chicken, or
differential do
WA,
this, you're probably
lamb,
right.
bison, and more.
Equity on
Eating
buying
healthily
Coke
is
and
so
everything
important
else, sure.
for
Having a
attracting
kid.
people. Trying to make it relevant to this episode, guys. But seriously, eating meat makes you more attractive, hands down. There are studies on that on men. There are. I recommend their
This would be my
grain-fed
economics
beef,
book
wild
on
salmon.
Weebles
Their
by
lamb is some
today's
of the best
standards.
I've
It's
had
also a recon
this
on the
baby.
original
Look at this.
foundation of what Wall Street was as an
They also
investment
have
on
100
stock.
different cuts of meat that you can't
Equities
find
are
at your grocery store,
time-space
probably,
problems
depending on
before
where
you
live.
put your money
The
and
booty
how
is
you get
definitely
involved.
not. To get started, just go to truelocal.ca for Canadians. And that's
Bunny rabbit.
trulocal.ca for Canadians, or trulocalusa.com
Sex.
for Americans to build your own
Bunny
personalized
trial
box
is the
of
bunny.
meat. Shows up at your door, vacuum sealed, individually portioned like so.
Get it wrong, you go in the wrong
Buy an air
direction.
fryer also.
They get crossing
Just throw
paths doing
steaks in the
things
air
in that
fryer.
area.
Flip them once, the laziest way to cook. It works so well. And use code MP to get free steak in your order at truelocal.ca or truelocal.com. Code MP.
Look,
Enjoy the rest of the episode.
Stonehenge,
do you think
bluestone,
some people are destined
big
to be
rocks,
single?
cut
or
out
are
of the
people
ground,
supposed to be in
moved all bumpy and
relationships?
lumpy. Try to sell a swimming pool like that nowadays.
I don't know that I
You
think.
gotta have the sauce.
I was just talking.
I can do it with the tracer sauce, but
we
to make
literally just did an
the rock
episode
you
of my
want for your
podcast right
headstone,
before this, and we were talking
what,
about
6
that
inches
idea
thick,
of
4 feet
is
tall,
one better than the other?
big ass fucking
Should-
heart or
should
something
we
on there,
aspire to
hanging
one
home
particular state?
with
And we do
whatever,
live in a world
or maybe your
culturally,
urn,
societally, where
copper over there. You know, you getting the one freshly
still
mined out of the
seems
ground
to
or
be
brass, or you
the
going to the one that's
undertone
refined out of the
is still,
recycling facility that actually
why are
looks
you
like a
still
big ass
single?
car
It
that just got
carries-
melted down.
It carries that message that there's somehow something wrong with you if you are, and I
Donate
really
my body
worry
to
about that
science
because
or cremate me and toss
not
me in the
least of
river
which
and move the
because I
fuck
work
on.
with
Close
literally
service,
thousands
don't
of
even
women I
bother.
know
Not my
who
life.
are making bad decisions based on that idea of their value, that they're
DNR.
somehow not as worthy